Is BRIAR ult an issue in her mastery? BRIAR's character is an issue in her mastery, and that's fine, by the way. That's not a bad thing. BRIAR's entire character is about learning how not to int. And then when you learn how not to int, you can do crazy things, but there's also just a lot of counterplay to her. Good players will dodge the ult, they'll dodge the E. Good players will be able to kite her around. Like, good players just have a lot of ways they can deal with BRIAR because she's a very straightforward character. That is not necessarily a problem. So here's a note. BRIAR is the most mained champion patch over patch for like the last 4 patches. Meaning that, like, on average, the number of average games on a patch that a BRIAR player was putting in was quite literally the highest in the game compared to any other champion in League. Higher than Yasuo, higher than Yone, higher than Lux, higher than YORICK, right? And so there are a lot of people who really, really like BRIAR and play a lot of BRIAR and play her nonstop. So it's a question of, hey, if I wanted to make BRIAR more functional high MMR, I could try to do that. But if that comes at the cost of making her less BRIAR, less inty, less run at you and try to eat you, that might actually be a bad thing, because there's a lot of players right now who are voting with their playtime and who they main to just play endless games of BRIAR. And so it probably means that if we did that, there's definitely some risk in like the players who really, really like just maining her and playing her every game, even if it would make her better in Challenger or things like that. That's because she was an ELO cheat in Submaster. There are other champions who are ELO cheats that are not mained as much as BRIAR. Like, when I say BRIAR is like, has a very like high rate of being mained, it's important to note that like, that's a big deal. Like, there's 160 champions in the roster. The fact that she's at the top is a big deal. There are plenty of champions that are ELO cheats that don't necessarily get mained that much. And so it's just a thing where it's like, the reason I'm calling out that she's mained a lot is not to like toot my own horn. I'm not like, yeah, look at BRIAR, she's so popular. What I'm saying is like, that it's probably an indication that she is providing a unique playstyle that you can't get elsewhere that her players really enjoy. And so if we made changes to remove that unique playstyle in order to buffer for high MMR, that could be a very bad result. Another character like this is, characters like this are like YUUMI and YORICK and SHACO and Katarina. It's like a bunch of these characters are like, if you look at them, like one of the things they all, YUUMI, YORICK, SHACO, Katarina, BRIAR, one of the things that they all have is very unique standout playstyles that you can't really get anywhere else, right? And so if we do changes to those characters to make them like more viable in high MMR or more approachable to the average player, we could do that, but it might come at the cost of something that, like, you know, players, there's a group of players that really enjoy that, you know, want it because it's different. Yeah. Are you fine with BRIAR being played in lane? I'm fine with her being played in lane for now. She's pretty decent in top lane. No one plays her there, but she's decent there. Go watch some TrueTut streams. I don't know if he plays her anymore after the nerfs, but she's decent in top lane. So if you want to play BRIAR in lane, go for it. It definitely takes a certain set of skills. You really have to learn how she plays out, because you could just get yourself killed. But she's actually a fairly decent laner if you figure out all the nuances.